to say that again because there's so much energy in the room. My name is Lark Jackson, and I'm the Associate Director of Chicago Women in Trades' National Center, as well as a steering committee member of the Women in Non-Traditional Careers Initiative. Woo, woo, woo. I'm really glad that each of you could join us today, because today feels pretty special. As tradeswomen, construction and manufacturing industry stakeholders, local, state, and federal agencies, labor leadership, elected officials, and community-based organizations are all joined here today to celebrate an opportunity that lies ahead of us to ensure that skilled trades jobs in our city are filled with the most diverse and dynamic talent pool. At Chicago Women in Trades, we understand that having a diverse talent pool means you are getting a variety of skill sets, aptitudes, individuals who approach their work with a unique lens of problem solving, and we know that diversity should always be viewed as an asset, not a liability. The Women in Non-Traditional Careers Initiative, a Philadelphia-based program that supports women entering the skilled trades. Sorry, I'm human. Thank you. I love affirmations. Okay, so let's start it over. The Women in Non-Traditional Careers Initiative, a Philadelphia-based program that supports women entering the skilled construction, manufacturing, transit, and utilities industries, is a prime example of this. Created in the summer of 2018 by Philadelphia tradeswomen and tradeswomen advocates, through funding from the Women's Bureau's Women in Apprenticeship and Non-Traditional Occupations Grant, and with support from Philadelphia Works, WINK started as a trades career awareness program. Because unfortunately, women often don't know these career pathways exist, let alone see themselves reflected in this work. By 2021, WINK had generated so much interest from prospective tradeswomen that the initiative decided to develop a WINK Tradeswomen Readiness Program, a free 6-week women-focused pre-apprenticeship program hosted by the Finish Your Trades Institute, whoop, whoop, that uses the industry-recognized NAV2 MC3 curriculum. WINK TRP is a pipeline for women to enter high-skilled, high-paying, blue-collar trades careers, and offers the necessary tools like transportation stipends, childcare vouchers, tools, boots, even socks to fit comfortably in those boots, and other supportive services, and most importantly, a mentorship program that sets women up for success as they enter these trades careers. Today, the WINK initiative as a whole has over 1,000 stakeholders, 240 tradeswomen on our mailing list, 480 future tradeswomen on our mailing list, and 58 WINK TRP graduates over 4 WINK TRP cohorts. If you all notice, this is the 3rd day for our current cohort, right? So we're in our 5th one. With 92% of WINK TRP pre-apprentices completing the program, and 50% entering the skilled trades within 12 months of their graduation. The WINK initiative understands it's not enough to just focus on the supply side of these industries though. There has to be an equal effort on the demand side to make sure that project owners, contractors, subcontractors, employers, and registered apprenticeship programs are given adequate training to create safe and respectful workplaces and learning environments free of harassment and discrimination for all workers. WINK's Tradeswomen Building Infrastructure Initiative accomplishes just this, as WINK now offers free training to those industry stakeholders on anything from best practices to outreach and recruitment, to best practices in retention models, to bystander intervention, so you can safely intervene if you witness poor behavior on the job site, right? Sometimes it's not always safe. WINK has taken a holistic approach to ensuring more equitable opportunities for women to enter and thrive in the skilled trades in Philly. And each of you here today share a similar goal of making sure our city capitalizes on its rich talent pool. With historic infrastructure investments on the table, We have not only a fiscal, but more importantly, an ethical responsibility to make sure that the workers out there on those job sites are the residents that make our city so vibrant, strong, and resilient. So, I invite you all here today to share in this celebration where we will outline just how we plan to do this work. And I want to thank each of you in this audience for your commitment, as well as our guest speakers today, for bringing this vision to life. Thank you. And without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Ryan Boyer, Business Manager for the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council, which is a consortium of more than 50 labor unions in Philadelphia's building construction trades. Give him a round of applause.
Oh, wow. Good afternoon. I would like to welcome the Secretary and Director Tanden to our great city, where we have undoubtedly the best mayor in any major city. Lark was very eloquent in the way she spoke. I am going to be a little more colloquial because we're in Philadelphia and we're in Northeast Philly, so I could cut off my R's when I say water and all that. I just want to keep it real. The Biden-Harris administration has been the most pro-worker, pro-union, pro-equitable growth administration in the history of the United States of America. And it's fitting that we're here at the Finishing Trades Institute because they have WINK. WINK has been the most impactful program to get women in the trades in my 30 years of doing this work. It's dynamic leadership. Erin Hoffman and what she does with the young ladies that come through this door, how she recruits them off bus stops, how we reskill them, and we recruit people that are currently working in low-paid, low-wage jobs so that they can upskill, so that we can create the dynamism in this economy. I'm glad that you're here to witness this, Secretary, because this is a crown jewel of what we do. And that's just one program. We have several. I saw the CAP program here. They've been around filling the gaps when no one was here, when construction wasn't plentiful. We have Sam Staten's senior pre-apprenticeship program. Sam was my mentor, and he started the DAP program and the CAP and the DAP. So this isn't new to us. We aren't Johnny-come-latelys to this party. But we're glad that the federal government is here. The cavalry is here under Biden-Harris to make sure that we have the resources to make it happen. Because a zip code should not determine your destiny. So we need partners in the city like Pat Clancy at Philly Works to understand that we have to lift up the lease of these so that we can make these jobs intentional. And for the first time, and I'm looking at Tony Wigglesworth back there as I say this, I am so glad to see contractors at the table. I see you, Rob, because if we have the supply side, and as Lark so eloquently stated, but we don't have the demand side, it means nothing. The worst thing you could do is to train a person, tell a person that you have something for them, and then at the end you can't live up to your promise. At the Philadelphia Building Trades, we will never train someone for a job that isn't there. So as Rob knows, I push contractors all the time. I see our good friends at the Carpenters Union, they have it right. You have to adopt someone. You're a partner. Adoption is a good word. They could have used any word, but it's adopt. Because that person now is your responsibility to take through the 4 years of apprentice learning while you earn.
Come on.
And we in Philadelphia, we had the greatest apprentice ever. His name was Benjamin Franklin. Now, for Ben, we're not here, because Ben didn't have a gun, but Ben went over to France and got the money. But the best social program is a good union job.
Yeah.
And this administration is helping us get good union jobs. Now, when my guy left, I'm a proud member of the Laborers International Union in North America. Marty Walsh said, wow, who's going to take Marty's place? I didn't know that they had a dynamo up there. Secretary, so I see you everywhere. I see you in Baltimore, I see you in DC, and it's always touting apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship so that we can get it right. The economy of tomorrow should be carried on the shoulders in a diverse way, like the cities and the towns and the counties where they work in. No longer are we going to have economic apartheid.
Yes.
Because we're going to begin with the end in mind. We're going to be intentional about having young ladies like her wiring up my house, because I'm scared to do a little wiring. I do anything else, but I don't touch the electric. But it is with great pride that I introduce the chair of the White House Domestic Policy Council, Director Neera Tanden, and after her, our great mayor that keeps receipts. You should have saw her yesterday. She had receipts. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the great misfortune of speaking after Ryan, who is a tremendous leader, and I have to say, he just fully captures why we're here today. We really see in the Biden-Harris administration that we are at a unique moment in time. As he said, I'm Neera Tanden. I'm the chair of the Domestic Policy Council, and I'm here because we oversee workforce development with Secretary Sue, who is an amazing leader on these and so many other issues. And she has been a visionary leader for really ensuring that we maximize the potential of this moment. And what do I mean by that? I really am just building on what Ryan said, which is this administration has is investing in America. We are putting more dollars on the table to address core needs of the country: infrastructure, ships and science, our economic competitiveness, renewable energy. These are important goals, but we know, as Ryan said, we will not meet these national goals unless we have the workforce to do it. And most importantly, in this moment, we have a shot to ensure that we do what we really have never done before, making sure every single American, people who have who've never seen themselves in these jobs, in these construction jobs, in this moment, take the opportunity to have these jobs, these middle-class jobs, these jobs with dignity, as the president will say. And that is up to all of us. And that's why I am so incredibly excited to be here at this location where there's so many training opportunities, but fundamentally to learn from this WINK program, where it's exactly what the president has envisioned. We put resources on the table, but we make sure those dollars are providing training, real opportunity to people who've never been in these jobs before, to have that, sense of hope and opportunity. A real sense of, what is a job? What is a middle-class job? It is a sense of security, hope, optimism, that you can take care of your family and your future. And it gives you that sense of dignity. And that is why when we didn't just put these dollars on the table, we didn't just pass the bills in Congress. We've had a coordinated, intentional program to ensure that we have the workforce programs, WINK, and so many others, the apprenticeship programs, that just don't replicate the status quo. So we don't just make sure we do what we did before, but through outreach, through role modeling, we make sure that people who never seen themselves in these jobs finally do. And I want to just say how grateful I am to be here and have learned from so many leaders who are stepping up for this moment, doing more outreach, ensuring that you are engaging communities that have never been part of these trades before, thinking about how we're doing support services for women, support services, childcare, other forms of care, so that we actually are able to ensure women can take the time off to learn the skills and then have the job at the end of the program. But I also want to just say a special shout out to the job creators here as well, because we know that apprenticeships don't work, and you will definitely not ensure that you are getting people from underserved communities unless there is a job at the end of the training. Because people don't have the resources to just come out of the workplace unless they know there's a job there. So that's what's been vital to this program, and it's been phenomenal to hear about the apprenticeship models here and the training here where there's 100% job placement. That is phenomenal. We have 100% job placement. And so just on behalf of the president and the vice president who have been so engaged and really have told all of us and instructed us, pushed us, prodded us, and really making sure all of us who work for them are thinking through every step that we maximize the potential of this moment, because we really have the opportunity to build an economy for all of us in ways that we have never seen before if we maximize the potential of this moment. And I just want to say thank you to so many people in this room who are ensuring that people in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania and in the country are doing so. So with that, it is my phenomenal honor to turn it over to Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker, who I have learned so much on so many issues in our conversations on housing and the opioid crisis. So thank you very much, and turn it over to you, Mayor.
Director Tanden and Secretary, so it's an honor and a privilege to have you all here in our great city of Philadelphia. And to Lark, thank you for reminding us in detail, in essence, that you literally can't be what you don't see. What you don't know is access to an opportunity, because for one reason or another, being a member of the skilled trades has not been something that is standard operating procedure in your life, in your family, in your network. The Philadelphia building trades and the carpenters. I'm so excited to be here with you and to see all of you here on today, because our continued partnerships and work with programs like CARP and CAP and WINK and the Sam Staten Apprenticeship Program and our Workforce Investment Board leader, Pat Clancy, allows us to lay to shame in a very tangible way anyone who affirms that we are not moving forward in a progressive way in the city of Philadelphia to make sure that access to the skill, the living wage, the health care, and retirement security that is offered by being a member of the skilled trades is available to anyone who is interested in putting in the hard work to make it happen. Give our building trades a huge round of applause. To each of you here on today, that people across America, people in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and in our great city of Philadelphia are yearning for access to the opportunity to even touch some aspect in any way imaginable, the promise that is the American dream. Part of the way we get there is by helping to put people on a path to self-sufficiency. And I would argue that Philadelphians in particular, They are tired of listening to people talk about access to the American dream without delivering very tangible examples of how we'll get there. Philadelphia, President Joe Biden, and it's important that I get this on the record because somewhere, somehow, somebody's going to forget the details. And I won't go through them all, but I want you to know what has been delivered to our city to help put people on a path to self-sufficiency. I've only been here 6 months and 10 days, but who's counting? $618 million in federal funds. Let me tell you where those dollars went. $25 million for water and sewer infrastructure. $317 million for new fleet cars for SEPTA. $159 million to cap a portion of the highway that harmed us for years as it relates to discriminatory development practices. I was with 98, TJ and Mark, when we actually worked on the electric vehicle infrastructure workforce development program that is being developed. $2 million for brownfields remediation, and $3.32 million recently from HUD for affordable housing. That's tangible support. I want you to know your mayor doesn't stand up to talk about a big check presentation until the little check is in the bank. And all of the President Biden and the Biden-Harris administration, they have assured that this $618 million, those little checks are in the bank. Why are you happy on today? April the 25th, President Biden designates Philadelphia as a White House workforce hub. People say, okay, the designation is nice, but what exactly does it mean, Madam Mayor? 1 billion projects upcoming in the year alone to ensure that 200 new apprentices are hired in historically undeserved neighborhoods. How will the pilot work in the city of Philadelphia? For us, it's going to span 3 departments: streets department, water department, and our Philadelphia International Airport, who is really improving the bathrooms. Give them a round of applause. If he's here, when you see Akif, you tell him I said I know it's working. Very specifically, let me affirm this. In dollars, $165 million in streets department projects, $369 million for the Philadelphia International Airport, and $432 million in water department projects. That is extremely important for us. Philadelphia Works, Clancy, we've got a whole lot of work to do here in the city, and we thank the Biden-Harris administration for delivering in a tangible way the tools we need to give people access to the skills that will allow them to live a life and be put on a path to self-sufficiency. This is not about government giving anyone anything that could go away. But when you learn the skills from the masters of the trades, and they teach you how to do the work that is, in standard operating procedure, using the level of excellence that the building trades use when they help us build Philadelphia, you will always be on a path to self-sufficiency. We just need to make sure that we keep the demand going. So on the day, if he's listening, Director, Madam Secretary, I want you to know this. You let President Biden, the Vice President Harris know that the city of Philadelphia is grateful and thankful that they continue to deliver in a tangible way. We are giving people a government that they can see, touch, feel, and eat, and take care of their families with, and live in dignity and own a home because of the access to opportunity that you are providing. And I don't give a damn how tired people get of hearing about it. I'm going to yell it from the rooftop every chance that I get. Thank you all so very much for being here. Let me acknowledge for the record, and this is important for me to do. Can I have our Director of Commerce, Alba Martinez? Mike Carroll, come on up. I want you to see who our leaders are. All of our City of Philadelphia departmental leaders who are here. Mary, our head of labor. There is no great leader who gets anything done alone. When you heard me talking about those pots, those dollars amounts, and those departments, these are the men and women who are working to get it done. And the one who is directing everybody on where to stand, she left the White House to be with me. I take my orders from her. I just want you to introduce yourselves, Pierce, so people will know who you are.
Sure. Alba Martinez, Commerce Director. Such an honor to be here. And thank you for your support.
I'm Steve Giglio, I'm the Director of Labor for the City of Philadelphia, and definitely thank you for your support, and we're going to do all the work that we can to make this a success.
I'm Mike Miller, I'm the Deputy Managing Director for Transportation Infrastructure. I want to thank everybody from the White House, of course everyone from Labor, and of course our contractors, as you said, are creating jobs for everybody in this region. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Kristen Del Rossi, Streets Commissioner. Thank you for the money.
Randy Heyman, Water Commissioner. Thank you very much. We look forward to putting more people to work.
Yes. Listen, Kristen and I can't help it. She's from South Philly. You know, she doesn't give it to you straight. Listen, we wanted you to see the people who are actually doing the work to make this happen. And really do want to say thank you in a very substantive way. We have a goal coming on top of the training dollars that you will give us access to the opportunity to employ the use of. We have a commitment for 30,000 units of housing here in the city of Philadelphia. Build new, repair, preserve existing. You are continuing to help us put people on a path to self-sufficiency, and we're grateful, Director and Madam Secretary. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Parker, for your commitment to advancing workforce opportunities through the city's procurement policies, as well as your team. Partnerships, we know that partnerships with contractors will be critical to reach the city's goals to build a robust and more inclusive workforce. So with that being said, I would like to now turn it over to the Contractors Association of Eastern Pennsylvania, represented by Mr. John Kibblehouse.
Be here. Boy, after that lineup, I don't know who made that lineup. Put me first, and then the important ones in later. So, yeah, I'm not a big public speaker, so you know, stick with me here. And I'm just a poor contractor, so I couldn't even afford a notepad. So, as she had said, I'm John Kibblehouse Jr., Secretary Treasurer of Haynes and Kibblehouse. We are a heavy and highway contractor, office based in the Philadelphia Naval Unit. We have 350 employees, somewhere around there, and been in business for over 55 years. So thank you again for inviting me. Haynes and Kibblehouse is also the founding members of the Contractors Association of Eastern Pennsylvania, generally known as the CAEP. Currently I serve as president of the CAEP board. The Contractors Association consists of approximately 30 active members that build critical infrastructure projects. As Mr. Buckley is walking around here, everybody knows that critical infrastructure project that just happened. So in the region, including heavy and highway and utility work. Along with 30 active members, there are over 100 associate members consisting of subcontractors, suppliers, bonding and insurance companies, consulting companies, accountants, and many others. The active members are all signatory to the local unions who have excellent training programs here and can provide us with well-trained labor. We support our members in negotiating with collective bargaining agreements and being a liaison with government. While the White House designation of Philadelphia as a workforce hub underscores the innovation and collaborative approach to infrastructure and workforce in our city. With nearly $1 billion in upcoming public projects from the city in the next year, there will be an increase in contracting opportunities and demand for skilled apprentices and journeymen, which we really need out there. This will be a big help. We recently had a productive conversation with the city regarding their efforts in workforce development and public works, including the city's geographic and economic hiring preferences aimed at providing a greater number of qualified apprentices and journey workers. And in also doing so, economically develop our communities. As contractors, we are welcoming the opportunity to strengthen and diversify the workforce to not only meet the needs of our city's infrastructure, but to take part in the economic development of the communities we live and work in. The GEHP signifies investment in our city workforce pipeline, further ensure that infrastructure workers from planning to construction reflect the population of the Philadelphia here. By working together, contractors, government agencies, labor organizations, workers, and communities can share in the benefit of those historic infrastructure investments. That's pretty much all I have. It's short and sweet, trying to catch up on time a little bit. These initiatives are great, and we are working with the city, and I'm sure we will get these things going as soon as possible. And there's nothing better out there than what we're doing here. Again, we appreciate your help for what you have done for us, and also somebody said the money that came in. So, but, thank you very much, and appreciate being up here, and thank you.
And now I have the honor and the privilege of introducing Ms. Shakita Hardrick. She is a Women in Non-Traditional Careers Tradeswomen Readiness Program Summer of 2023 graduate. She is a mother, she is a community activist, and she is also an aspiring tradeswoman.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not a public speaker either, so just bear with me. I'm a little nervous. I'm Shakina. I'm a 32-year-old single mom. I'm from North Philly. I came through the WINK program summer of 2023 after being down on my luck and after going back into a welfare to work program. I was hopeless. I felt like I had failed myself and failed my child. It was hard. But during one of the work ready boot camps that we had at the Northwest Career Link, I met Ms. Tarika. She's actually a FTI director here for the Glazers Trade Union. And when I met her, I was immediately drawn to her because she was somebody that looked like me, talking about building trades, and she was a woman. So after hearing her story and her spill and learning about WINK, I knew it was nobody but God himself that put me in that position to let me know that he was opening the door for me. So I decided to step out on faith. I came into FTI, I took the Wonder Lake test for WINK. I failed the first day. I came back the second day. I failed again. But the director, Erin O'Brien Hoffman, she saw something in me. And despite me failing those tests 2 times, she let me in to the program. And she assured me after 6 weeks with her, I would be able to pass that test. So during the program, I learned different things. I learned about different trades that I never knew anything about. I'm just a girl from North Philly. The only thing I know about is plumbers and electricians. But coming in, I found out about glazers. I found out about sprinkler fitters. I found out about steam fitters. I found out about the industrial bridge painters. Also, I learned different things about fitness, eating healthy, staying fit, and also things about myself, my strengths, and that I could do this being a woman. So after I did my training, I passed my test. Yeah. So, and not only did I gain experience, like just learning about the trades, I gained a sisterhood. Women who encourage me, who uplift me, who support me in my darkest hours, even outside of the trades. Anything that I'm going through, they're there for me, and they want to see me win. So it's amazing. The guys are great too. The guys are great too. I'm fighting to hold back my tears. Because it's so amazing. Coming through that program, it changed my whole life. I thought I failed myself, but I didn't fail. I arrived. I arrived to greater, and I'm on my way to a new life for me and myself and my child, a way out of poverty. Man. I'm so happy that I took this opportunity and this chance. Sorry, not me that cry. It's an amazing opportunity for women, and not just women, anybody that want to come in and put the work in and do the hard work. It's an amazing opportunity. It has given me so much confidence. I walk with my head a little higher now. I'm more confident in myself. I'm more sure of myself. And at the end of the day, I know, like I said, I'm on my way to just a greater life, a greater me that I couldn't even dream about. It's amazing for you guys to keep these programs funded because we need them. Like I said, I'm a girl from North Philly, coming from welfare, single parent home. I couldn't imagine being here, even being here to speak in front of you guys. I couldn't imagine it. So I just learned a lot, and it just showed me that I can do anything. Women can do anything when given an opportunity and putting our minds to it. And it also showed me that not all angels and heroes wear halos and wings. Sometimes they wear hard hats and cold work. Sorry guys, I got a little nervous. I want to introduce, and it's my inaugural honor, and I'm super excited to introduce to you guys the Acting Secretary of Labor, Ms. Julie Scoop.
Wow. Thank you all for being here, and let me just say thank you to you, Shakina. The only thing I want to correct about what you said was that you are not a public speaker. I think everyone in this room, I think we could all stand here and listen to you tell more of your story, and I hope you will continue to do that. I saw you do that just off the cuff to the new cohort of WINK participants. And we will also continue to tell it because you are why we do what we do, and you certainly prove that we should just keep at it because your story is just so incredible. So thank you very much. And I don't know if Brother Ryan is still in the room, but I want to thank the building trades. President Biden is investing in America, and the building trades are building it. So thank you. To the mayor and her team, all of whom are also here. We couldn't do these hubs without you and the leadership on the ground. And I actually want to acknowledge some of my colleagues from the Biden-Harris administration. So of course, you already heard from Director Tanden, who is a visionary leader in all of this work and is helping to deliver on the president's promise that we will do no domestic policy without centering workers first. So thank you so much, Nir, for your leadership. To my colleagues from the Department of Transportation who are here, Secretary Buttigieg is not here, but Paige Shevlin, who is extraordinary in making sure that all the money the Department of Transportation is putting out is tied to good jobs and good union jobs jobs in communities all across the country, and to our colleagues from EPA who are here, and to Administrator Michael Regan, who's not here, but to his team who's here too. All of us are working side by side together to fulfill the president's promise to be the most pro-worker, pro-union president this country has ever seen, and our investments are a part of that too. So it's very, very special to be back here at the Finishing Trades Institute. I was here about a year ago with the Vice President announcing the first update to the Davis-Bacon rules in about 40 years, alongside many of you. And so, again, thank you all for breathing life into the rules that we pass. They would not mean anything if it not for all of you living them, breathing them, helping us to enforce them. So I just want to thank you all for hosting us here again, but remind us of a year ago that we were all together. And I think, you know, it's also because the work we do builds on itself, right? It's not that we do things one day and we, you know, expect it to change, because there's been decades of underinvestment in working people, you know, underinvestment in American industry, and we're turning all that around and working with all of you to make that happen. And a part of that is obviously WINK, the incredible work that WINK does. And during Good Job Summer, I'll come back to that a little bit in a second, but I'm very proud to be here to actually celebrate WINK. So back in 2018, the Department of Labor gave a grant to Chicago Women in Trades, and Laura talked a little bit about that history, also known as CWIT. And that grant helped to kickstart the WINK program that we are talking about here today. And it is just incredible to see how much that program has grown. That program has grown in large part, and she was very modest about this, so I'm just gonna say something to her again, because of the leadership of Lark Jackson. And this is how women get it done. Quietly, with energy, with vision, doing all the work behind the scenes to make sure that a program that is just an idea when you started here is now delivering thousands of opportunities in this city for women who, as Shakina said, did not see themselves in the opportunity and did not even know that such a job was possible for them. So Lark, I want to thank you for making today and all the things that we're doing here possible. So when I think about CWIT, I've been to visit a few times, and I've met many of the women who, like Shakina, are now doing jobs in their communities that they did not see themselves in. Women like Jazz Allen, who after incarceration had a hard time finding a good job until she got to CWIT. And now, today, Jazz actually helps to run CWIT, a perfect sort of, you know, giving back story. About how when you give someone an opportunity, it's not only something that benefits and uplifts them, they come back and they benefit and uplift their entire community. And that's why the Department of Labor continues to invest in programs like CWIT, like our Tradeswomen Building Infrastructure grants, that is putting tradeswomen at front and center in the jobs that we're creating that are helping to build America, because we know the power of these programs to transform lives. And you all are building the future right here in Philadelphia. So before I talk a little bit more about the future, I just want to say one thing about where we came from, because it's important to know how far we've come to look at where we were. So just before President Biden came into office, let's just take ourselves back to about 4 years ago, we were in the midst of a global pandemic with no national strategy to address it. And unemployment rates were extremely high. And when we went to the store, we didn't know if we'd be able to find toilet paper. Everyone remember panic buying, empty shelves? That is not what we have in this country anymore. Today, under President Biden's leadership, there have been almost 16 million jobs created in this country since he came into office. That is the most of any president in that same time period ever in history. And, that's right, the unemployment rate has now been the lowest for the longest stretch, basically in my lifetime, since Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. And none of that happens by accident, right? These things happen because leadership matters. And thanks to the leadership of President Biden, we have built and sustained an economic recovery that most people said would not be possible. And his vision of an economy that's built from the middle out and the bottom up, rather than through trickle-down policies, which never benefited working people. That is core to what we are talking about here today. And that's why I launched a Good Jobs Summer Tour to visit cities across the country to highlight the good jobs that are being created in communities and make sure that everybody sees themselves in those job opportunities. So remember something else from 4 years ago or so, the promise of an infrastructure week that never happened. Do y'all remember the punchline that it became? Well, we made it real. And under President Biden, we started investing in America again, and we are now at the beginning of an infrastructure decade. And those historic investments, as has already been said, is pouring some $17 billion into the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania alone to fix roads and bridges, to make sure that every family that turns on the water faucet gets clean drinking water, to make sure that every community, urban, rural, big, small, has access to high-speed, reliable internet, and to make things here at home. So when the president thinks about these investments, he thinks about jobs. And in President Biden's America, we don't just count the number of jobs. We look at the quality of those jobs. We want them to be good jobs. Jobs where people can sustain a family. Jobs that will uplift the community. Jobs where, as the president always says, a mother can look her child in the eye and say everything's gonna be okay and mean it. We want them to be good union jobs. That's right, that matters too. And so the work before us is to make sure that we connect people to those good jobs and employers to people. That's our workforce development system. And I think of that system as infrastructure too. It's the roads and bridges that connect people to the good jobs they want and need, and employers to the people they want and need. And I call that our nation's opportunity infrastructure. But that infrastructure, like our physical infrastructure, has also had some challenges over time. It's had some cracks. It's got some potholes in it. The mayor mentioned a highway that was actually built in a way that discriminated against certain communities. Our workforce system has for too long also done that, right? It's not reached every single community the way that it needs to. Too many training programs of the past have trained for jobs that might exist for skills that somebody might need. Again, as the building trades know really well, that's no way to build a training program. That's not an effective training program if there's no job at the end of it. It's like a bridge to nowhere. And then why would anybody get on it? Nobody wants to get on it, not because they don't want to work, not because they don't have drive, not because they're not motivated, but because it's not a bridge that leads them somewhere. And so we are rebuilding that workforce infrastructure. We are building a real opportunity infrastructure in this country that will meet the needs of all communities. And that opportunity infrastructure begins with employers, right? It begins with demand. It begins with what employers need and the skills that they need. And that demand side is important, and it begins with working with employers to make sure they're signaling what they're gonna need, because by the time they need to hire, it's too late to start a training program, right? It's too late to bring trainees in. And so starting with employers is really important, and the most effective training programs have labor and management at the table together. Have employers working with unions, labor and management, talking about the skills that are needed, building up programs, recruiting people for them, and making sure that the people who go into jobs have the best skills that they can get in order to do those jobs right. And so I think one of the important things about our hubs is that we want to be very clear that for communities that have been told before, you don't really have the skills to do this work. We're not sure that you can do these jobs. That's not the message that we have. That's actually not even true. Because for so many communities that have been left out in the past, right? Communities of color, women and women of color, single mothers, people who've been formerly incarcerated. The reason why they haven't gotten jobs is not because they lack the skills. It's because we haven't built the roads and bridges to connect them to those jobs. And not this time, and not in President Biden's America, and not here in Philadelphia. So, I'm gonna mention a few ways that they're changing that, including by naming Philadelphia a workforce hub. The geographic and economic hiring preferences that have been alluded to and have been mentioned is about creating a demand for communities that have been left out in the past. That's one way that we are doing this, making sure that economically disadvantaged communities get the good jobs that are coming to Philadelphia. Another is investments in apprenticeship programs. You know, I know that apprenticeship programs are the gold standard for connecting people to good jobs in their communities. And that's why today the Department of Labor has announced the largest one-time competitive investment in apprenticeship programs, $244 million across the country to expand apprenticeship programs, bringing the total since President Biden came into office to somewhere over $730 million. We believe in apprenticeship programs. You have made them work, and we're investing in them like never before. The third way we're doing this is you've heard President Biden say that when the federal government invests, we can crowd in private investments. We can get the private sector to believe, to come in, to put money in. And that has happened in the Investing in America agenda. It's also happening with the opportunity infrastructure. And so through the nonprofit Everybody Builds, which is a nonprofit built by contractors, by developers, and by unions, there is now money through the Construction Trades Career Fund with support from JP Morgan Chase to provide those supportive services that we've already heard of. Childcare, transportation. Again, people are not missing out on jobs because they don't want to do them. They're missing out on them because they can't get to and from them. They're missing out on them because women still bear the primary responsibility for childcare and other kinds of care because they don't have the childcare infrastructure to support them. So supportive services to make sure that people can succeed in jobs and get to job training programs is really key, and that is also happening right here now in Philadelphia. So this hub has to reach all communities in order for us to claim success. And to do this right, we need everyone at the table, which is why I'm so delighted to see all of you in this room. We need employers and industry associations. John, thank you so much for your words. Rob, thank you for your work. The Vice President and I were so proud to come out and visit you and the working men and women on the I-95 who repaired that in record time. Thank you so much. If you want work done right, you want a union contractor, you want union workers on that job. We need union leaders like all the ones I'm looking at, the carpenters, the electricians, the painters, everybody here in this room. Unions have to have a seat at the table, and in President Biden's America, we will make sure that that happens. We need workers, we need community-based organizations, we need government leaders, and yes, we need women. And so let me close with this. Women's labor force participation rate for prime-age workers has been the highest ever over the last 3.5 years. Right. In 2023, women's labor force participation rate was the highest we have ever seen. And then in May of this year, we broke our own record. So women, and in particular women of color, have powered this nation's economic recovery. So let that just sink in for a moment. That is why programs like WINK are so important, because women want to do it, they can do it, and as Shakina said, women can do anything when given a chance, and it is our job to make sure that that chance is available to every single woman in Philadelphia, throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and across this country. So I'm very proud to build this opportunity infrastructure with all of you. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's build together.